Alright, so this is going to be the most serious video I've made in probably years. And I'm warning you now, I might get loud, I might get graphic, I might curse. And this video probably really is not for children. But this is the most important issue, I believe, in the world. And nobody really seems to be paying attention to it. You know, I spend time like everybody else. I spend probably way too much time on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all that. But in particular, I wanted to get an update on what's going on with the slave trade. So what I did was I started to search. I started with a search, that window's probably closed. But I started with a search. Let me just do it all over again. Gaddafi and the slave trade. So I found the same things that I've always found. The same thing. Look at this. You put this into Google. Today is March the 3rd, 2019. Black History Month in this country just ended. But there are no new updates on this story from most sites since 2017. Since 2017. So I'm wondering, like, man, did Trump do something about it? Did he clean it up? Did he fix that horrible problem that that Obama started? Obama and Hillary. You got to blame them for what happened. You know, Hillary even laughed about it. We saw, he died. Joking about what happened to the Honorable Muammar Gaddafi. How he was assassinated and killed. What happened to him? Excuse me. What happened to him? A white liberal lady like Hillary Clinton. If the same thing happened to a pig on camera, she would be disgusted and outraged. Just like all you liberals. What happened to Gaddafi would outrage anybody if it happened to a freaking dog. If that happened to a dog, if you saw that happen to a dog, you would be outraged. But you liberals and everybody else is ignoring it. I shouldn't just be on the liberals, because what is Trump doing about this? What is Trump doing about this? And this is what this message is for. This is really like my early political video. 2020 is right around the corner. Democrats, Republicans, but especially you Democrats. This is a problem that you guys started. Slavery has returned in America. Now let's push the search tools. Let's see what's been reported about this in the last 24 hours. Oh, that's not about it. That has nothing to do with Gaddafi or the slave trade. That's it. That's it. The only two things. Only two things come up. What's going on in the news? Not a damn thing. Past hour, okay. Past 24 hours. And they got this story about Rubio. You know, what Rubio did was disgusting. So 2 stories in the last 24 hours, and really neither one of those have anything to do with this. What about the past week? Nothing. Nothing. Past month? Nothing. Nothing about the slave trade that's going on in Africa. Wait, is that one case? Nope. Nothing about the slave trade. Nothing. What about the past year? Still that Marco Rubio. Nothing. Okay, so, you know, they might not want to mention Gaddafi in it. So let's see, any updates for this year? Past year. 3 weeks ago, a story about Canada resettling more than 450 slaves from Libya over the next 2 years. 150 arrived last year. Wow. 450 in a year, huh? Canada takes hundreds of African migrants sold in the slave trade. Here's Russia Today. Oh no, they're talking about the same damn thing. So here's a story from August 29th, 2018. That's the only real story about it, it seems, right here. Oh boy. So let's go to videos. People talk about this, and we're going to stay in the past year. Let's see. Any source? Well, let's see this. 6 days ago, CNN reported on it. Reports of migrant slave trade in Libya. And as you see, I visited that today. Like I said, I've been looking into this. And this is what I'm making this video for, because I can't freaking believe this. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this. Okay. So let's look at sources. And there's a main reason I'm making this video the way I'm making it right now. Okay, so slave trade, Libya in the past year. Any source? What CNN got to say about in the last year? Okay, that's the same story I was just looking at. Oh. Few people are doing something about it. But if you notice, none of these stories are very recent. Only one story from this year, and that's on CNN. What about CBS? It's the same story. What about DW? Still no recent, no, not one story from this year except for that same one I'm talking about. YouTube.com. A few people have mentioned it this year. Not much though. Nobody cares. News 24. Nothing. Now let's see. Let's do this past hour. Now, I don't want any search. Let's see, past 24 hours. Okay. I hope it don't stop recording when I turn my camera sideways. Nope, it didn't. Because I'm hoping. I did see some stories. Let me see. I know that Al Jazeera had quite a few stories on it. Let me do the Gaddafi thing again, and maybe. So, they not let me pull up Al Jazeera anymore for some reason. But I know Al Jazeera had a few stories on it. Let me close this. Maybe I still have that tab open. Yeah, I don't know why that other tab wouldn't show me Al Jazeera. But let's see. Past 24 hours. Nothing from Al Jazeera. Oh, that's not true, man. I just saw some results from Al Jazeera. I don't know if it's because I'm recording now or what. But I already opened up those tabs. So maybe I can find it in one of these tabs. It looks like they're not trying to let me look at Al Jazeera. But there were, when I first did the search, Al Jazeera was the only one reporting on this. This isn't very recent. I want to try to get some more recent stories. And if I can, I'm going to just go ahead and read the Wikipedia page because that is what does seem to keep updated about this subject. So, all these stories are a little bit too old. I don't really want to look at them. That's from 2017. Newsweek, I know this. Yeah, that's from 2017. So let's see here. This is from 2017, but I have a feeling that all you Democrats that keep talking to me about how racist Donald Trump is, and all you Democrats that was running around telling black children that slavery was going to return if Donald Trump won the election, even though slavery had already returned pretty much soon as they killed Gaddafi. Y'all weren't talking about that. Experts say humanitarian crisis in Libya is a result of the United States intervention into Libya led under former President Barack Obama. International leaders have been outraged over video footage showing the slave trade taking place in North African countries. In the North African country, people for sale. Videos of men and women being sold in Libya had led experts to question the role of Obama administration played in the North African country's instability 6 years after the president ordered an intervention there. Obama has called the aftermath of the 2000 intervention when Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown the worst mistake in his presidency, and some experts agree. Some. Anyway, I've already made this video so long, and I apologize because I haven't packed this with a lot of information, and I know you're interested. So, like I say, I'm gonna just read straight from the Wikipedia page, because, like I say, that's the only real current information about it. So, slavery in Libya has a long history and a lasting impact on the Libyan culture. It is closely connected with the wider context of slavery in North American and the Arab slave trade. Therefore, it is better understood when the wider scope is taken into account. Now, I don't have time to educate everybody on the history of slavery, but let's just read slavery in the post-Gaddafi era. Of course, I'll have this link with the video in the description area. But since the United Nations backed and NATO-led overthrow of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's regime in 2011, Libya has been plagued by disorder and migrants with little cash and no papers. Libya has been plagued by disorder, and migrants with little cash and no papers have become vulnerable. Libya is a major exit port for African migrants headed to Europe. The International Organization for Migration published a report in April 2017 showing that many of the migrants from sub-Saharan Africa heading to Europe are sold as slaves after being detained by people smugglers or militia groups. African countries south of Libya were targeted for slave trading and transferred to Libyan slave markets instead. According to the victims, the price is higher for migrants with skills like painting and tiling. Slaves are often ransomed to their families, and in the meantime, until ransom can be paid, they're tortured, forced to work, sometimes to death, and eventually executed or left to starve if they can't pay for too long. Women are often raped and used as sex slaves and sold to brothels and private Libyan clients. Many child migrants also suffer from the abuse and child rape in Libya. After receiving an unverified CNN video of November 2017 slave auction in Libya, a human trafficker told Al Jazeera that hundreds of migrants are bought and sold across the country every week. Migrants have gone through Libyan detention centers have shown signs of many human rights abuses, such as severe abuse, including electric shocks, burns, lashes, and even skinning, stated the director of health services in the Italian island of Lampedusa to Euronews. A Libyan group known as the Asma Boys have antagonized migrants from other parts of Africa from at least as early as 2000, destroying their property. Nigerian migrants in January 2018 have accounts for abuse in detention centers, including being leased or sold as slaves. Videos of Sudanese migrants being burned and whipped for ransom were released later by their families on social media. In June 2018, the United Nations applied sanctions against Libyans, including Coast Guard commander and two Eritreans, for their criminal leadership of the slave networks. The government of Burkina Faso and the Democratic Republic of Congo responded to reports by calling their ambassadors from Libya. The CNN report incited outrage. Hundreds of protesters, mostly young black people, protesting in front of the Libyan embassy in central Paris, where French police firing tear gas dispersed them. Moussa Faki Mahamat, chairman of African Union Commission, called the auctions despicable. Protests also took place outside Libyan embassies in Bamako. I'm sorry, man. I'm American as hell. I don't know how to read African countries and Arab countries that I'm not familiar with. And Yaoundé? Oh, that's Yaoundé. Anyway, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres stated that he was horrified by auction footage and these crimes should be investigated as possible crimes against humanity. They should not be investigated as crimes against humanity. They should be stopped because they are crimes against humanity, and this has been going on for years. At this point, here it is, 2019. We've all seen plenty of footage, even though it seems like the mainstream media is ignoring this. While they want to talk about the damn gay actor who acted a damn fool in Chicago with a Subway sandwich and a rope around his neck. That story has been reported over and over and over and over since the story broke. Both sides, when they thought that he was a victim and now that they think that he's a criminal. They steady talking about that. That's what's important as far as race is concerned? Coming from you Democrats. Hundreds of protesters outside the Libyan embassy. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to put the link to this. I'm just looking for updates, really. But as a result, the Arab slave trade, the word slave is still used as a pejorative, still used pejoratively by some Arab-speaking speakers in Libya to refer to black people. Now, I did make this video too long, but I hope you stay with me because I do have a very, 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 very important point. Like I said, the election is right around the corner. It's already 2019. It's already March. And that election is coming up. And meanwhile, Donald Trump is talking about all this other stuff, and everybody's paying all attention to all this stuff, what he's talking about on Twitter and all this other stuff, and you're steady calling him a racist, even though you won't call out the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton for what happened in Libya in the first damn place. In the first damn place, Gaddafi should not be dead. That was bullshit going after Gaddafi like that. That was bullshit. And now look at the instability that has hit Libya. And now the Arab slave trade has returned with a vengeance. We talking about North Korea and all this other crap. I need you to do something about this, Donald Trump. The election is coming up. The election is coming up. You was bragging about how last election you got record number black people to vote for you, and I believe that's actually true. I believe a lot of people did vote. A lot of black males voted for Obama, for Trump. About 3% of black women voted for Trump. But what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen now? I don't hear none of the Democrats talking about this. Talk about the mistake that the Obama administration made and what they're going to do to correct it. Every American should be offended that slavery is back in this country, especially Republicans. Republicans are supposed to be the party of Lincoln. Republicans are supposed to be the party of Grant. What the hell has happened to the Republican Party? Y'all have been in power all this time, and y'all talk about this, you talk about this, all this bullshit that doesn't matter. Slavery has returned. People are fucking slaves. There's no more important issues than this. Fuck Jussie Smollett. Fuck the fucking dude with the dress suit and the Oscars and all this other shit y'all are talking about. Everybody want to twerk and do all of this bullshit when we have human beings being captured by other human beings and being sold to other human beings. Women and children. Men, women, and children. You want to talk about Me Too and women's rights and all this other bullshit. What about these little girls? You know, I'm pretty sure that most of these people who want to buy slaves, they don't want to buy slaves for working in the pumpkin patch, even though they do. They have slave working in getting a lot of coffee. A lot of the coffee fields is made by cultivated by slaves, is farmed by slaves, harvested by slaves, produced by slaves, processed by slaves. Diamonds are mined by slaves. Things that Americans love so fucking much. Coffee and diamonds. Fucking people are slaves doing this shit. Every American. I don't even give a fuck if you are a white supremacist. You should be disturbed by that. Because America is supposed to stand for freedom. America, through lots of soiled blood and treasure lost during the Civil War. There's probably not an American that's at least a third generation who hasn't lost an ancestor in the Civil War. And now we're going to stand by and watch this happen? Meanwhile, you'll intervene in other countries over fucking oil. We don't even need their fucking oil no more. We produce more oil than most countries now. We can produce our own oil now. And fuck that, we should be doing solar powers and wind, all this other stuff. We shouldn't be worried about energy. But you will worry about that. You will run up in the country for that. But what about this? What about this? You want to occupy the Middle East, where them people been going at war over religious books, which is all the same religion. When you really, really break it down, it's all the same religion. They ain't fighting with each other. And we're going to intervene with that nonsense. Stop this. We should be talking about Libya. You want to threaten North Korea, where again, there is slavery in North Korea. And according to a lot of reports I read, there are more slaves in North Korea than anywhere else. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what to know. I'm landlocked here. I can't go and research all this stuff. I wish that I could have myself a news organization so I can investigate things like this. But I'm just one person. But I do believe a lot of these reports and a lot of these videos that I've seen about the slave trade being reported and returning. And what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? So that's what that's why I'm making this video. Everybody that's watching this video, please share it. And even if you don't share it, because it's a long video, a lot of people not going to want to hear me. A lot of people not going to want to hear me, they're not going to want to hear me rant and rave about this. Not for 20, 30 minutes. But you do your own research. Talk to your family about this. If you're a political person, if you're a part of the Democrat Party, talk to your Democrats about this. You want to win against Donald Trump? You're not going to do it with that same old thing. The same old abortion and gender and all that. You guys, Obama carried that political football real far to the left. A lot of that stuff that y'all been talking about for the same shit y'all been talking about for 60 years, give it a rest. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Spread the word. Write your congressman. Write your president. Write everybody. Every chance you get to just mention it. Throw it in their ear. 2020's coming up. The election is coming up. What are you going to do about this? This is going to be a campaign issue. And to any independent third party out there, you might not know who I am. You might not be familiar with who I am. But trust me when I tell you I know political trends. Any third party out there that wants to really mix things up, you focus on two things: the drug war and slavery in Libya. Ending slavery worldwide, ending the worldwide drug war, especially decriminalizing marijuana in this country, because those are two issues that should not be ignored, but they're grossly ignored. People talking about marijuana, people making marijuana, and marijuana is making progress, but neither party has gotten their heads out of their asses on that issue. talk about police brutality and shit like that. Why are you talking about police brutality and you're not talking about the fact that marijuana is criminalized? Half of the time that these cops are harassing these young people, it's over marijuana. Half of the times they kick in somebody's door with a fucking SWAT team, a paramilitary SWAT team, rolling around cities with tanks. It's about drugs. In the drug war, you end the war on American citizens. Talking about freedom and cameras and shit like that. Fuck the cameras. Ain't you sick of people, these motherfuckers sniffing your car every time you get pulled over so they have an excuse to rifle through your shit? I think I smell marijuana. Let me search your car. Oh, you won't give me permission? Well, I smell marijuana. Let me call in the drug dogs. Get one of them quick emergency 10-minute warrants. Have you and your family stretched out on the concrete, literally laying on the ground. This is supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. We have lost our motherfucking minds in this country. We are absolutely disgusting pieces of shit. Us. I'm in it too. I feel bad about it too. Why haven't I made this video before this? Getting distracted, paying attention to all the other bullshit on Facebook. How many times have you had a conversation about Jussie Smollett this past week? How many times have you had a conversation about that dude who wore a tuxedo dress? I agree, all of this stuff is outrageous. It is outrageous. These attention-seeking whores are doing their best to get attention. Oh, and we talking about fucking people migrating into this country. We worried about people, they don't want to be south of the border no more. They don't want to be in South America anymore because they're not making enough an hour. Because their family farm isn't doing well enough. Because they want more money so they can buy cars and live the luxurious life. Meanwhile, people who cannot walk over here, they're doing everything they can to flee these war-torn areas and these horrible parts of Africa. Black Panther came out and we're focusing on all the beautiful parts about Africa, but what about the fucked up parts of Africa? There's still fucked up parts about Africa. And this is the most disgusting. And I know you're disgusted by it, but you forget. You think about this and you think about that, you're distracted, you're on Tinder and Twitter and Snapchat. Snap about this. Snapchat about this. Talk about this. Next time a politician comes to you and asks for your vote, ask them about this. Why aren't you talking about the slave trade that's returned in Africa? Why has Canada opened its doors to 750 ex-slaves? I'm talking shit, big deal, 750 in 3 years. What are we doing? What are we doing here in this country? They have people that have been skinned alive. Skinned alive. Look at this paragraph. Human rights violations in the Libyan slave trade revealed in the CNN investigation are a result of the U.S. interference, according to some experts. CNN released a video of migrants being sold for about $400 in an auction, although there have been accounts of slaves being sold for as little as $200 in the year 2017. This article was written in 2017. That's more than a pair of fucking shoes. December 4th, 2017. 15 months ago, they were selling humans for between $400 and $200 motherfucking dollars. How much does the phone, are you watching this on YouTube? How much does the phone in your hand, how much did you spend on that? A human is being sold for less than that. The shoes on your feet, how much did you spend on that? How much did you spend on coffee since this article was produced? How much did you spend on subscriptions? $200. And people wonder why I get so fucking mad and so excited when they want to talk to me about these bullshit fucking politics. I was ready to fight during that fucking Trump and Hillary election. I am black, and I got a black son. And I had black people telling my son that slavery was going to return in America if Donald Trump won this motherfucking country, or won the election. And I tell them, and like I tell everybody else in this goddamn world, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. I don't know who the fuck you think you're making slaves. You got black people in this country fucked up. And I think you got white people in this country fucked up too. I think even if every black person laid down and just went along with that shit without a fight, I'd like to think that my white fellow Americans would not go for it. I'd like to think that my white fellow Americans would start pulling out guns and blowing off heads if motherfuckers start trying to take us into slavery again. I know I ain't going for it. Really got me fucked up. I'm 42. You think I'm going to be a slave now? You think I'm going to choose slavery over death at 40? Or some of these other brothers, some of these ex-military brothers, some of these ex-convict brothers? You out of your... Anyway, I've made this video way too long, as usual. And I'm pretty sure I didn't get I got my message I got my message across, man. And I will put the links to these videos. Hopefully, this is fair use, man. This is commentary. I'm spreading the news. This is an article from slave markets are springing up across Libya. This is from 15 months ago, so Newsweek shouldn't be too mad at me for sharing it or try to sue me and take my video down. And if this video does get flagged or taken down, what the fuck does that say about YouTube? What the fuck does that say about our country? You motherfuckers protesting over shit. I'm here in Austin, Texas right now. I remember how these motherfucking streets were when Donald Trump won the election. People were out on the streets acting a damn fool. These pink pussy hat girls and these fucking Antifa motherfuckers all up in the streets, acting a fool, breaking shit, yelling, screaming, cursing. And the slavery had already returned in Libya. Gaddafi was already dead in Libya. But that's what made you take to the streets. An election. And the person you wanted to win didn't win. So, don't invite me to no fucking Black Lives Matter protest unless this is going to be a part of it. We got it good over here, man. All of us, black, white, Mexican, Chinese, everybody in America, we have it good. We're just fucking ungrateful. That's our biggest fucking problem in this country. Anyway, I've ranted and raved long enough. I got it off my chest, so I'm finna get to work. And have a blessed day, people. Again, 2020's coming up. Donald Trump, I want to hear from you on this issue. I'm finna reach out to Donald Trump personally on Twitter, man. For real. Like, man, I didn't vote the last presidential election. I ain't gonna lie. I voted the last local election last year. But I didn't vote in the presidential election between Hillary and Donald Trump. Neither one of them was talking about anything that was really important to me. Talk about being caught between a rock and a hard place. But I will admit, I was happy when Donald Trump won. We already had 8 years of Obama. Ignoring police brutality. Now you want to put it on Donald Trump. Did you forget how Obama ducked and dodged so many questions when it came to race? He wasn't trying to talk to him he wasn't trying to talk about race at no press conference. He might talk about race at these fucking little dinners y'all have in Detroit or Chicago where the audience is all black or all liberal. Yeah, he'll beat that race drum there, but he wasn't talking about it nationally. What did he do about Trayvon? He said if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. It was beautiful. When you said that was beautiful. It really touched my soul. But what'd you do about it? What'd you do about John Crawford? What'd you say about John Crawford? What'd you do about Tamir Rice? What'd you say about Tamir Rice? Black Lives Matter started during the Obama administration. Did y'all forget that? And that was like 3 years into the Obama administration. Did you forget that? You blaming Donald Trump for Black Lives Matter? I was on the highway in 2004 when I was driving an 18-wheeler the first time I seen protesters on the freeway. They was on the freeway. They was like on I-74, I think. They was on one of the I-80. They might have been I don't know. I was driving through St. Louis. Was it I-70? Anyway, Obama was the president back then in 2014, and you people, I get pissed off hearing you Democrats talk about race. But you don't talk about this type of shit. Anyway, like I say, man, I just keep going on and on and on. Thank you for watching. Please share this video, subscribe, give me comments. Let me know what you think about me and, what I've been trying to do lately. And stay blessed. 2020's coming up. Wake up, people.